Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Today we're going to start by going back to the ship and then we're basically going to see what happens because in theory we're waiting on things right now, but what exactly we're waiting on, I don't know. Also there's this stuff which I just spotted. I don't think we need any of this. I don't think we need these chain swords. I think we're good. I think we can get rid of these. Yeah, move all of these over here. There we go. I don't know why I was having trouble moving them. I guess it was trying to swap. Yeah, and we'll keep the large med kits. Cool. There we go. Right. And time to leave. So we're going to head back to Void Dock Alpha Row, which is on the way out. So I guess we could get stopped on the way. That we also have to explore the Void Dock, because it will have changed. I guess we have to go back to the atrium as well and probably speak... Oh, the Void Rock just takes you back here. Okay, cool. We need to speak to Jai, so let's do that first, and then we'll head back. We need to speak to Hieronymus as well and see what he has to say. But, yeah, basically we're in a little bit of a wait situation. We could go and do whatever we want to do, but we're kind of in a wait situation in terms of like advancing the main story or doing any of that sort of stuff. But I'm assuming that the game is going to resolve that rather soon. But not right away, apparently. Okay, where is... there's Jai. Hello.
Shireen, O glorious son of dozens of worlds and billions of subjects, have you come to converse with Jai Haydari about the sweetness of her soul? Or do you wish to speak to a trade representative of the Imperium? Well, does the guise of one of the most powerful people in the Expanse suit me?
You're beautiful no matter the guise, Jai.
It is hard to argue against words as wise as they are sweet, Shireen. Except sometimes guises meld with the skin of their unfortunate owners, and the only way to take them off is to tear skin from flesh. That is not something I want. Not anymore.
How is your gang faring, Jai?
Like you need to ask, Shireen. These Ashmags and Kashaz are tenacious. They lick their wounds faster than the Ajji themselves. Tora finally got an implant for her jaw. Now she can speak properly instead of braying like a toothless donkey. She's been recruiting strapping guys and gals too, because Falco culled our ranks. May the Ajji savage the soul of that interstellar piranha.
You said you wanted to reflect on what has happened.
Oh, yes, Shireen. And here is what I think. Since the day we first met, I have been tossed about like a boat in a storm. Battered, dashed against the rocks, lashed by the waves. And then I was flung onto the shore, and a fabulous gift washed up beside me. A precious pearl of the deep, the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. And you know what? I enjoyed it. Yes, I was slammed face first into the rocks, and was up to my neck in water. But I finally had a taste of freedom. Just a smidge. Just a little bit. But it was enough to make me dream of it every night. Void, crack and take the Kasbalika and the cold trade. As for our mutual business, Shireen, I will remain your loyal partner if you desire. An equal partner.
She utters the last few words with particular vehemence. These are odd responses to what she said. I'm going to say the choice is yours to make, Jai. All I can do is support it.
Then it is decided. Starting today, I will sail toward the future I choose. What a thrill it would be to ride the waves wherever they want to take me.
Jai's communication device lights up, indicating an incoming message. She gives you a polite nod, looks away, and focuses on the message that is being transmitted to her comm bead. With every passing moment, her expression darkens, then she cuts off the transmission with a nervous gesture. What was that about?
Nothing important, really. Just a small commercial matter.
Since when do small commercial matters make you so nervous?
Fine. Maybe it's better to let you know.
I guess the budget ran out? Shireen, I've received an important message. Mercy and the Mission Circle want to see me. Quite the honor. Jai smiles, but you can sense the alarm lurking beneath her usual cheery facade. I won't lie and say it's completely safe, but perhaps you wouldn't mind coming with me. Who are the mission circle? What's the meeting about? This circle are the high-ranking agents of the Caspili Commission. They already know I took Falco's life, and they're about to hear that I want to take over his trade. But for that, I need their approval. Why do you want me to go with you? Because Mercy will be there. Jai's face darkens. He settles all disputes and conflicts in the mission. I don't want to go up against him on my own. Why are you so afraid of this Mercy character? Jai takes a deep breath as though preparing to jump. Because I was with him before. He helped me relocate to the Expanse from the Calixis, and he helped me make a name for myself in the mission, to become a cold trader, to take Christo's place when he died. But it was more than that. He was my teacher and my lover. He knew everything about my past, like you do now. I was with him for a long time. I belonged to him heart and soul. But later I wanted a different life, so I left. I can't say for certain I didn't break his heart as I went. That is why I'm afraid of seeing him again. If he hasn't forgiven and forgotten, he will try to dominate me again. And I'm not sure I'd be able to stand up to him. Not because I love him, but because I once idolized him. Of course I'll come with you. Thank you. It means a lot. Jai closes her eyes in relief. It won't keep you away from the important matters. Oh, we're doing this. We're doing this literally right now. Like I thought you meant in some point in the future. Okay. We'll do this now. All right. Different party needed. Why? I'm not taking you. That seems terrible. I'm not taking Ulfar. Maybe Pascal could come. Idira seems like a great choice. Maybe Marazai? This could be a Marazai mission. Okay. Let's go. It is, of course, shady dealings with Caspili Commission. Having him there might help. Oh, except it's not. We don't really need a party, I see. Tense faces turn towards you. The faces of people who are hard-nosed, hard-fisted, and hard-hearted. The cold traders maintain a deferential silence, which is broken only by the hiss of the smouldering roll-up being smoked with relish by a dark-haired, aristocratic-looking man in a sumptuous coat. Oh! Vladame, tossing a sidelong look at the regal-looking stranger, in the dry and solemn intonation of a priest declares, "The seats have been claimed. Now we discuss the trade." Jai, her face frozen into a battle mask, glares at the dark-haired stranger, who responds with a subtle, patronizing smile. Let's survey the people in attendance. The peddlers of the cold trade sit in meek silence. When the dark-haired man's gaze casually falls on them, their heads drop lower. Jai, with her chin raised, seems to be the only refutation of this man's absolute superiority, but her strained expression makes it clear that she is not unaffected by his presence either. The stranger exudes aristocratic hauteur. He takes drags of the fragrant low with visible gusto, his fingers idly playing with a button on his jacket and from time to time smiling enigmatically at his own thoughts. I'm going to nod at Jai, and I'm going to let her take the start of this conversation. Quiet vox to you all, Sheikhnars. Rogue trader Malachi von Valancius has come to our meeting to ensure that his interests will not be harmed. Greetings, your lordship. I am Mercy, the organizer of this gathering of upstanding and enterprising men and women. The jubilation that was engendered in my soul at the news of your visit was not overshadowed even by the host of questions it raised, primarily about how your interests came to lie in such close proximity to ours that I was granted the honor of seeing you at a meeting of the mission's highest circle. Questions arise and are resolved, and the wise should not darken our hearts with them. He gives you a radiant smile. The circle will hear Jai, Amira, Fathreen, Tamiri, Ash, Ifrit. Mercy pronounces all your companions' names with deliberate meticulousness, never taking his laughing eyes off her. So he's just reminding her that he knows who she really is. I am laying claim to Falco's business, his territory and his crew. He tried to take mine and he lost, so now I take his. I want the circle to endorse my claim. Jai continues the stirring match with Mercy, aiming every word at him like a bullet between his eyes. Is that so? Frowning, Mercy exchanges a look with the other cold traders, as though reading some kind of answer in their glassy eyes. He shakes his head. Can the circle agree to that? After all, Falco's sentence was not handed down by us, but by you alone. Does that mean you now speak for us and instead of us? A dangerous proposition. Okay. So I can say I'm certain that Jai's management of Falco's assets will be more profitable. This uses our commerce and our coercion. Okay. Let's say, Jai, perhaps you have an argument to support your claim? Jai takes a deep breath and with compelling seriousness says, You did not stop Falco from robbing me. You did not stop him from killing my friends. Has the circle voted for my removal? Not as far as I know. Either you admit that you allowed Falco to break the rules, or you have to act like they still matter. According to the rules, Falco was out of line and I punished him. On your behalf, let's say. So his trade is my trophy and the circle's reward for my trouble. Mercy's laughter, velvety and appealing, causes Jai's brow to furrow in torment. You listened well, Shireen. You found yourself accused and so you cast an accusation in return. A logical move. You discern an interesting mix of emotions in Mercy's eyes as he looks at Jai. Irritation, warmth, interest, even resentment. For him, she is something more than simply an opponent in a business negotiation. But what Vox will pick up your voice in the void? What friends will repeat Jay Hadari's words spoken here? The rogue trader? No. What friends in the organization? You have none, though you once did. Mercy's gaze on Jai is patronizing and strangely sympathetic. Well, we can still try some of this. But let's first of all go. You're not going to let them fleece you, are you? Do you have a backup plan? Jai responds with a brittle smile. The ease at which you rid my heart frightens me, Shireen. Oh? Hello? What's the backup plan here? Kill them all? That's, unexpected. The crashing sounds of doors being kicked in and screams fill the room. The sharp tang of burning physaline hangs in the air. The cold traders freeze, giving the barrels pointed at them their full attention. An old familiar expression appears on Jai's face, the look of a satisfied predator. Mercy, do you remember what you always scolded me for? You are too quick to deny the thought that you might deserve something, Shireen. That is what you said. Thank you for the lesson. This time I will not be humble. Falco's contracts are mine, Falco's crew is mine. Speak up if you disagree, the rest of you at ease. Only short and bloody songs are born to the sound of weapon fire. You think you can force... The whistle of the bullet that flies just past Mercy's ear makes him swallow the rest of his florid speech. Okay, we're not going to question her here. I'm going to say, have you got the message, Mercy, or do you still have objections? Clamping a new low roll-up between his pearly white teeth, Mercy coolly replies, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to argue with a rogue trader and a loaded auto pistol. Despite Mercy's strange Stangfreud? What is Stangfreud? Alright. Stangfreud. Composure or coolness shown in danger or under trying circumstances. Despite Mercy's strange Stangfreud, it is clear to you that this is a man unaccustomed to enduring such indignities and equally unaccustomed to forgiving those who have wronged him. Okay, I can try and convince him that Jai is different. I can say that smug bastard finally shuts up. I can say disappear from Jai's life, a memento for you, kill Mercy, kill him, or say live but do not let me see your face again. Let's just try the check. I mean, there's a very high chance we fail, but I actually think it's the best thing to say even if we do fail. You still see Jai as the girl who needed your protection. Forget that girl. She is a different person now. We succeeded! Fantastic! With a very low chance. Mercy winces in pain at your words, his face no longer guarded by the lavish armor of his self-assurance. After tossing a weary look at Jai and receiving an affirmative nod from her, he sighs heavily. It is true, she is a different person now. I do believe we can consider this meeting closed. Most certainly. The Circle approves Jai Hadari's claim. Our trading is concluded. The representative of the mission on my station. The dame emphasizes these last two words and Jai gives him a grateful nod. Undertakes to ensure that the interests of Mistress Hadari will not be harmed. We did it! Fantastic. All we had to do was get the world's luckiest roll at the end. Okay, and it doesn't sound like Mercy's going to come back for revenge later, which is great. You'll love to see it. Okay. Now, is she going to have something to say back here? Also, it's weird that it used our stats, given it was her meeting. Like, those were her stats. Anyway. That's fine. Let's go speak with her again. Oh, wait. Quick save. What am I doing? Speaking to someone without saving first? It's crazy talk. Hello.
Ah, Shireen. The burden of a trade representative of the Imperium is a hefty one, especially when said representative is dabbling in the cold trade on the side. Whew, it is exhilarating, as if everyone suddenly became allies and enemies at the same time. So how are you doing, oh precious apple of my eye?
Okay, we're done. Fantastic. Oh. Right, let me check if we have anything else to do, and if not, I'm going back to Footfall. So, both of these are things to do. Visit Darkonus. Find the door from Adira's vision. Reach the system mentioned in Emelina's message. Talk to Marazai on the ship's bridge. Oh, okay. Well, I can definitely talk to Marazai on the ship's bridge. And then, yeah. Then I guess we go back to Footfall, check in there, and then I think we leave. Yeah. And we go to Darkonus, probably? Maybe this is why it was suggested that I do this first, because maybe it takes a while for the summons to come in, so you starting it early is a good idea. I don't know.
Rogue trader.
After what happened on the officer's bridge, how are you coping with the warp crossings?
You dare to ask me that question? Every time this barge pierces the veil, I am left alone with all the nightmares of she who thirsts. It costs me all my fortitude and strength to fight them off, and there is never anyone at hand with whom I can indulge myself. Only cold walls and a sealed airlock.
Yeah, this is because we keep him isolated. He's not very happy about that.
Since the first time, I've been slowly acclimatizing to voyaging through the veil. Only Monkey could have conceived of such a suicidal method of galactic travel. However, it is novel and exhilarating. At least now I know what I'm facing, and consequently, I will find a way to withstand it. And now it is time to learn what is happening with the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest, leaderless and abandoned to the mercies of Kamora. The survivors will probably be driven into real space to fall prey to Silent Thresh. You must find them. If we encounter the remnants of the Cabal in this dimension, I will want to speak to them.
Okay.
Then go.
Well, that's good. So now he wants to go and speak to them in Langren's Belt. Okay. So we got some skirmish rumors now. Alright. Well, back to Footfall. Let's go. So we can also have a look around the atrium, which should now be different again. Yeah, this should all be different. I didn't level these two up, so let's take Heinrichs and Ulfar. Again. It's fine. Yeah, we can sort things out. I guess I could take Argenta and knock out Jai, but it doesn't really matter. I guess Jai has more reason to be here now. This is now where she does her business. With Vladame, the current liege. Yeah, we are propping up a criminal organization in charge of this place. Isn't that a good idea? I mean, the other guys were burning everyone alive. Criminal organization burning everyone alive. I guess we were also a crime boss to start with, so... You know, this is kind of in character. Maybe that's what the Inquisitor will say. He'll be like, could we really blame you? You were a crime boss. You knew what you were gonna do. Hello. That's fine. See ya. You got nothing new there. Everyone seems much more chill than they were a second ago. We can now go this way if we want to.
Is there money to be
It's
made?
incredible. Although we can't go up here. We can only go to certain new places. Okay. Koronus has a huge amount of people in front of him. Hello. What do you think about the justice I served, Reverend? I grieve, young von Valancius. We did what we had to, but I mourn our loss all the same. Incendia's soul may have been lost, but it was still purer than that of many vipers that call themselves holy fathers of the ecclesiarchy. Her life could have served as an example of true faith to many. Okay, well, shame. Okay, so it's just blocking you off from going to random places, these Inquisition troopers.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Nobody else here. We have some shopkeepers. I see Malachi von Valancius is a saint. Okay. Ooh, we now have this thing here. Pilgrims are coming to where
Keep your
we got
wits
rid of the
about
throne. Ooh. Cool. We still can't go in though. No. Okay, well. I think we're done here.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah, this all seems fine. How'd you get a spring of water in the station? It's probably a burst pipe. Oh, so water started springing down there, and they're like, it's a miracle, and it's because of us. But
I always
yeah,
keep my options
it
open.
could just be like a burst pipe. That makes sense. Look at this. One side is black and the other is red. This has always been that case. Also, is that our symbol on the ground? I don't remember that being there before. Anyway, let's go to the void dock. This just takes us immediately out. So there's a lot less of Footfall to look through now. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Nothing new. Okay, go back to the ship. We'll level up on the ship. Then we'll travel somewhere else. Probably to Darkonus. Yes, although Darkonus is Abelard's quest. That should be fine. We'll see how this goes. It has also been suggested that there is a reason to go back to every single system that you've been to before, because there are new events on, well, a lot of them. So, yeah, it's worth checking out. I was going to say everyone, but I believe it's just a lot of them. Anyway, level up time. Marzai. So, he gets a new talent. He has many that were potentially good for him. Seeing what these are. We took Deadly Aim, which is the dodge reduction one. Every melee attack reduces a target's armor. Any damage is increased for each... Yeah, so damage is increased for each attack that he makes, and he does make a lot of attacks. So that could potentially be good, but also every time he gains wounds, the next melee attack gains 1 damage for every 2 wounds he loses. That's also potentially good. Dodge being increased by... how much of his armor? By half of his armor bonus, so his dodge would increase by 20%. That's also very good. I'm going to take Extermination. I think that the stacking damage is going to be great with the multipliers that he has. And then in here, did I have anything that I had ticked as good for him? Yes, Professional Acumen. Every turn, the first use of an assassin ability costs 0 AP. Great. Wonderful. Right. Earliet. Here, critical velocity is just more crit. Death Dealer. Every round, after the character kills the first enemy, the character immediately makes another single attack. Yeah, I think that one is pretty good, because it gives her more attacks that she can use. Anything else here? Enemies that have 0 deflection or 0 armor against the target's attack suffer 10% more damage. And wait, what's the other part of it? If they have both, then then they stack. Okay, that's good. When the target single shots deal damage to targets other than the main target, they gain 5 ballistic skill. Ignores ballistic skill divided by 2 of the enemy's deflection. Potentially good as well. I like Death Dealer, but I feel like a better choice is either Grievous Wounds or Masterful Display. I think Masterful Display could stack up quite nicely, but she does hit a lot, and ballistic skill really just adds to that. So maybe I'll take Grievous Wounds. I think increased damage is good. It gives her a way to single out an enemy and kill them, which is kind of like the thing that she does. What's this one? Dodge reduction equal to ballistic skill for in my sights. They tend not to be able to dodge. Whatever prey that is not being killed, not being trailed is killed by an ally. The bounty hunter gains an extra turn of half their MP and AP, but cannot attack. But they could use in my sights for the next turn. So, it's good. Cassia. You have a ton of things that could be good about extra turns. Yeah, Firebrand is the one that gives an extra AP on extra turns. I think that is worth taking. But I'm just seeing what other stuff we had. We had Perfection Under Fire. What did I take last time? Combat Meditation. Oh, gain Willpower. Yeah. So, this one would allow you to do direct damage if they fail a resistance test. Honestly, yeah, I think this one was good as well. Let's take Malign Influence. We're trying to do more damage with her. Then here, I just want to see if we have anything in this part. Targets of Inspire gain 5% extra. That's the main one that I took. Alright, let's go with it then. Right, Argenta. So, 3% damage for every new enemy damage. That's crit. Extermination is the +1s, which she has multipliers, so it's very good. Ballistic skill divided by 2 of enemy's deflection is ignored. I think that's fantastic because her damage is very low as a base. So ignoring deflection I think is fantastic for that. I mean, her damage is really high as once she stacks up a little bit, but it gives her a good way to do some early damage in combat. Breaking Attack. Devastating Attack also reduces the target's armor by 7 and toughness by 10 until the end of combat does not stack. Exploit Weakness. When they have their armor reduced, she gains damage. When they have deflection reduced, she gains damage, but one's percentage, one's flat. And then this is dodge and parry. Okay. I think I'm going to take Breaking Attack. I quite like this one. I think it's good. Especially as Devastating Attack can attack multiple targets. So you're applying that across a group. Here, Cataclysm's the extra damage. Eager for Battle is the extra AP. Could be useful. Malign Influence. She does do a lot of checks now. Yeah, she does a lot of checks now. I think Malign Influence is fantastic. Yeah, let's take that. I know she's got a whole bunch of Psyker stuff we could take, but I'm just seeing if we have anything in here. Retaliate. When the prey deals damage to the target's, or to the bounty hunter's ally, the bounty hunter gains prey's difficulty tier % damage against the prey, and it stacks. Whenever prey is killed, all enemies in a 10 cell radius around the prey have their agility reduced by 5 times the prey's difficulty tier. I mean, that's good as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that. Let's take Gruesome Kill. I think that's fantastic. Wonderful. Right, are we clear? Yep. Cool. I suspect that level ups are going to take longer once we run out of the ones we've already clicked star on, but while we've got the stars, it's worth it. I'm assuming that Past Me has done the relevant work and has looked at everything and has decided what the best things are. So I don't need to worry about it. If at any point that turns out to be untrue, then we'll have to check it all, but you know. Let's assume that it's fine for now. Right, are we doing any colony stuff right now? I assume we are. Yes, we're finishing off Pleasing the Tired. Any other stuff? No, so Pleasing the Tired is for what? That gives us complacency, which then lets us get Bastion, then we can, yeah, okay, I understand. I remember, we're all where we need to be. Okay, so we've been to these ones before. Shards of the Tempest, he wants to go back to these places, to Langwin's Belt. Let's go map of the Koronus Expanse. And let's make our way to Darkonus. I think that's a sensible thing to do. I'm just seeing if there's anything else on the way. And I guess we could we could go to these ones. But you have a direct one from Footfall to Darkonus, right? Yeah, in which case let's just go. Oh, we got 2 trophies. We got 2 lots of holy gifts. Lord Captain, reporting. Shortly before our departure from Footfall, a group of messengers in luxurious garb delivered a strongbox and several chests bearing the insignia of House Orselio to the ship. I suppose the use of gold-clad servants instead of servitors was an extravagant attempt by the navigators to draw the attention of the rogue trader. Considering the incident in the capital world, the enforcer officers checked the Navis Nobilite gifts thrice. I'm pleased to report that none of them threaten your Lady Cassia's or the crew's well-being. Having said that, a closer examination of the strongbox by the tech adepts revealed a data slate with a vid message addressed personally to you alongside some kind of encrypted data. We dared not touch them without your instructions. Okay. What vid message? Show me. As you command, Lord Captain. Victus issues several orders and the vid screen with your personal cogitator springs to life, the machine innards rumbling unhappily. Rogue Trader. A familiar piercing voice comes from the cogitator's Vox system, and you see a bloated face with sagging skin and a gaping hole where a nose should be. We, Great Regent Aronto Orselio, send greetings and hope this message finds you in good health. Because I spared his life, okay. House Orselio will soon hold a grand council within the Palace of Atlas, the holy relic that connects all navigators of our house. This meeting will take place not in the physical world, but in the world of thoughts, dreams, and visions. It is the only way to avoid bloodshed and decide the fate of the sacred child at last. Thanks to the Atlas, we feel that the soul of the child is full of dismay, and yet the rogue trader's words bear a lot of weight with the child, so he may soothe its anxiety and lead the child down the right path. The path of accepting its duty before the house and ascending to the Novator throne. I hope you consider my offer, Malachi von Valancius, for it is in your power to not only strengthen the bond between our dynasties, but multiply your riches at the same time. The gifts accompanying this message are but as an insignificant part of the Great Regent's gratitude. May the God Emperor protect us all. The vid screen shuts down and Voxmaster breaks the silence. I'm told the message has been relayed to your cogitator, Lord Captain. I hope the data did not get corrupted during playback or delivery. Decode the encryption hidden in a data slate. Yes, Lord Captain. Victus falls silent, and the Vox transmission fills with scratchings of a cogita quill and rustling of papers. A messenger servo skull has been sent to the Omnissiah servant's compartment. Once the data has been decrypted, I will notify you immediately. This will be all for now. God Emperor protects, Lord Captain. Okay. So, something is happening there. That's fine. Right. Let's head in here and do the next something. So, do I need phlogiston? I kind of need some phlogiston. I have a lot of things, right? Yes, I have 20 extractums, so we'll get some phlogiston. I'm assuming if it's already explored, it will tell us if there's a new thing, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna assume it will tell us, right? If we hover over it, it will say there's an event or something, right? Oh, quick save before we land on the planet in case we don't want to do this. That's fine. We do kind of want to do this, so let's go. Palace. Clear out the list. So, Palace is going to be Heinrichs, Cassia, Argenta, and Pascal. Sure, let's go with that group. Not that I think that there's anything to do in the palace. I think it's usually just a walk-in, but, you know, it might not be in this case. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we're going to have combat. You never know. That's why we brought Cassia. she's going to talk them out of combat. Oh, what's happening here? Ladies and gentlemen, please stand aside. No need to crowd around. Governor Drivestem will take care of everything. Uh-huh. This is ridiculous. Such a thing happening right in the Rogue Trader's palace. So 3 dead there, but two bodies there and 1 extra person injured here. Okay. What's happening? You're confronted by the sight of dead bodies at the entrance to the palace. The corpses have been hauled into a pile. Some are dressed in uniforms of palace wardens, while others are arrayed in clothing typical of the Darkonus nobility. Upon seeing you, the young enforcer stands at attention and swallows noisily. His voice trembles as he says, Your lordship, we are honored by your presence. Examine the assailants. Observation. There are rare, high-functioning servitor specimens present among the expired units. Such specimens are traditionally bestowed upon the noble houses that are the most loyal to the sacred fellowship of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The augmetics of the deceased do differ from the implants ordinary people wear. Their intricate construction makes it clear the deceased were not ordinary humans. Abelard frowns. As far as I know, House Gaprak has received such servitors from the Crimson Priesthood as gifts in the past, although this is my first time seeing one myself. What is this mess? You see, your lordship, these people wanted to attack. The warden clears his throat. Second Lieutenant of the Palace Guard, Elam White reporting. Shortly before you arrived, we averted an assassination attempt on the rogue trader, but we weren't here. The palace soldiers detected intruders and engaged them in combat. Where's the court chancellor, Clementia Versarian? I think she is with the rest of House Versarian, detained in the throne room, that is. Governor Drivestem has gathered all of Darkonus' nobility there to pronounce a guilty verdict against House Versarian. Why is the governor not here to greet the rogue trader? I do not know, your lordship. Perhaps he is... The guard throws a fearful gaze at Abelard. You can probably find him in the throne room, where the governor intends to put House Versarian on trial. Different things, he said here. Previously he said, pronounce a guilty verdict, then he says trial. Just minorly different things. Alright, I must take my leave. Bodies bear multiple wounds, it's purely died recently.
That's how it's done.
There's a crumpled up letter in the inside pocket of the assailant's blood-soaked jacket. Did I get that letter? I did. Letter is soaked with blood. Only a portion of the text is readable, yet through crimson blotches. Heedful and discreet. Keep away from the lords and ladies. You must look like a noble to the servants and wardens. Do not engage in conversation with anyone. Your task is to avoid exposing yourself ahead of time and let the Versarians get away while the wardens are busy guarding the rogue trader. So it definitely seems like whoever was doing that was an ally of the Versarians. What exactly they were doing is still a little bit of a mystery. So I'm just rearranging these so that it's slightly better. There we go. Although... I know. We literally just rearranging for no reason at all because we can easily redo this in combat, but still. Something like that. That's better. Right. Quick save. Hopefully we don't need to do combat, but let's go. We'll see. Okay. In here, and accept. Nobody appears to be doing anything. There's a gap.
I must tell you, Lord Captain, that the crew were dismayed and confused to learn that your Xenos was not sedated after his antics.
I share their bewilderment.
Okay, interesting. What's this Gaprak aristocrat doing here? The man swings slightly as mumbling a prayer to the Emperor. Okay.
Is there money to be made?
Well, you're gonna let me into this trial, even if you're not letting them in. Let me through. I have an appointment with Chancellor Clementia Versarian. My apologies, my lord, but you cannot go any further. Governor Drivestem's orders. This is ridiculous. I shall complain. Move over. Let his lordship the rogue trader through. I humbly beg your pardon, your lordship. Your lordship, this way, please, this way. Your lordship, 'tis an honor. Governor Urban Drivestem seems to materialize out of thin air, so suddenly does he emerge from the crowd. I regret that such unfortunate circumstances have occasioned the rogue trader's visit to the capital. Clementia tries to take a step towards you, but the warden nearby stops her. Her face is veiled with fear and weariness. Your lordship, you are here. Please, you must hear us out. The rogue trader is undoubtedly here to listen to the testimony of each and every one of us, and to punish the traitors. The governor's words directed at Clementia are harsh. They are echoed by the scornful sneers and whispers of the assembled nobles. Now that I think about it, it could have been interesting to bring Marazai here, given that there was some rumors that Drivestem could have been working with the Drukhari at some point, because there were suggestions that he was getting the Drukhari to, or like that his rivals seemed to get raided more by the Drukhari than he did. So that could have been intriguing. However, I feel like it would have sent the wrong message. We've known each other for many decades now, and we have had our fair share of disagreements. But do you really think my flesh and blood would trample upon the very definition of honor and loyalty? Abelard's voice is quivering with rage. The governor sweeps his gaze over Abelard and replies, a faint shadow of doubt in his voice. We have evidence implicating them, Abelard. I am sure his lordship will arrive at a fair ruling. Okay. Do we have any just general stare around things here? Nope. Okay. What are the charges against House Versarian? Disruption of logistical lines, bribery of Adeptus Administratum officials, document forgery, and organization of heretical insurrections. On top of the evidently devastating economic impact this has had on your protectorate, these criminal acts have impeded the delivery of the imperial tithe, which in turn has drawn the Administratum's attention. An esteemed member of the Adeptus Arbites is expected to arrive on Darkonus shortly, and before they do, we are obligated to identify and punish those responsible. Okay. What happened on Darkonus in my absence? When we caught wind of the rumors of your disappearance, we patiently awaited news of your return. But then Darkonus was struck by a series of terrible events. The first was the sabotage of logistics that hampered shipments. Then mass unrest spread among the entire planet, and the minor noble houses began squabbling among themselves, trying to pin the blame on their rivals. We took great pains to calm them down and managed to quash the revolt, though not without some outside help, unfortunately. These events have also been overshadowed by the... I'm ashamed to even say it loud in front of you, Your Lordship. The rumors circulating among the higher houses. The governor stammers and takes a deep breath. Some were calling for Theodora's true heir to be installed as head of your house, Kunrad Voigtfir. Not all of your subjects have forgotten his past efforts for the benefits of the trade protectorate. Drivestem stops talking, watching you with a tense expression. When the investigation was launched, the evidence led us to the Versarians. Why are there 3 dead bodies at the entrance to my palace? Your lordship, I humbly beg your pardon. Drivestem bows once again, trying to placate you. You see, right before your arrival, the palace guard discovered a plot to assassinate you. Fortunately, the malefactors were disposed of before they could cause you any harm. Clementia, I wish to hear your account. Your lordship, House Versarian denies all charges laid against it. Clementia glances at the Governor of Defiance. These last few months have indeed been trying for Darkonus, but we have done our best to remedy the situation. My family's every effort was focused on stabilizing the capital's logistics and economy. So much so that we fail to notice the web of intrigue unfolding behind our backs. Drivestem, you aren't accusing one of Darkonus' leading noble houses of treason without airtight evidence, are you? Of course I have evidence, your lordship. The investigation has established that members of the Versarian family, which is responsible for both Darkonus' fleet and its logistics, use their contacts and influence to forge a host of documents in order to undermine the planet's supply of routes and economy, thus fomenting unrest among the inhabitants. Allow me to introduce my son, Cornelius. Ah, good. At least we have an unbiased witness, right? Somebody who has no stake in this whatsoever. Definitely not, got any reason to give an incorrect account. Anyway, carry on. The governor points to the lanky young man standing beside him. He bows curtly but avoids meeting your eye. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace, and it is thanks to him we managed to identify and trace the entire chain of forged documents. The investigation led us to the perpetrators, who admitted to acting on the orders of members of House Versarian. It was they who were intent on spreading the idea of restoring the title of Rogue Trader to the true heir. This young man is shrouded in a mist of grey and blue. Sickly shadows of fear are fluttering around him. Cassia speaks so quietly that only you can hear him, or hear her. So, this guy right here is fearful. That's an intriguing thought. Why is he fearful? I'm trying to find a camera angle that works. Maybe over here? Then we don't see the people at the bottom. Anyway, we'll stick with this one and we'll work with it because it moves forward. Well, let's speak to the heads of house present. Do you support the governor's accusations? The aristocrats in attendance exchanged glances, the noble lords averting their gaze and the noble ladies hiding behind the fans. Maybe this is a better angle. This seems fine. No one is willing to be the first to answer. Over his many years of service, Governor Drivestem earned Theodora's trust, and he holds his high office for a reason. Sauerbach's tone is stern and imperious. On behalf of House Sauerbach, I support his accusations. Your Lordship, Governor Drivestem has always faithfully served the rogue traders of House von Valancius and has concerned himself with the future of your trade dynasty. And so, House Gaprak thinks his charges against House Versarian to be sound. The augmetics hide Turiana's emotion, but her voice sounds slightly timorous. I humbly ask that you allow me to speak in defense of my family's honor. The evidence provided by the governor is utterly false. I cannot refute it, but I can say with confidence that no one from my family has ever tried to forge documents in the Adeptus Administratum, let alone undermine the economy of your capital. Okay. I'm not going to release them immediately. I'm not going to say I do not have time to deal with this. I'm going to say, sabotage and logistics, riots, conspiracy, the case appears to be flimsy. I wish to learn more before I make my final decision. As you wish, your lordship. The governor inclines his head in a stiff bow. Speak to me once you're ready to announce your verdict. Thank you for your willingness to help, Lord Captain. I'm certain that all the charges are false, and I would be grateful for your help in exposing them as such. I think you should speak to everyone present, the noble lords and ladies. And everyone moves. Okay. An investigation is here. Well, we shall find out who is responsible. So, let's open the map and have a look. We got Cornelius and some people here. We got Clementia up here. Sauerbach's over here, and the Gaprak's over here. So let's go speak to Clementia up here
to the
first.
top or get left in the dust.
Okay. You're first. Hello. As you draw closer, the wardens step aside, bowing respectfully, allowing you to approach the Versarian family. Clementia, tired and slightly disheveled, is the first to bow her head to you in deference. Several men and women follow her, behind her follow suit. Your lordship, the woman stammers as if lost for words. Accept my most humble apologies for failing to greet you properly, and my thanks for agreeing to speak to me before making your final decision. The charges brought by the governor are severe, but I can only assure you of this and swear on my own honor we are not guilty of the crimes that House Versarian is being accused of. Clementia! A hint of sorrow creeps into Ablard's voice, belaying his stern facade. You are acting as head of this family. You were supposed to take care of each and every family member, and now you're being accused of treason and collusion against the rogue trader, and the entire family is facing death. How could you let this happen? Okay. Well, let's see where we want to start here. The governor claims she forged documents in the administratum. The fleet is the primary remit of House Versarian. It is our responsibility. Logistics and supply routes are another area of our responsibility. We have no direct influence on the inner workings of the Adeptus Administratum. The first large-scale deliveries were cancelled after quantities of food were miscalculated by clerks in the Administratum. Then we were faced with incorrect weather data and a meagre fuel budget. It was clear the cause of all these problems was the calculations performed in the Administratum, in one way or another, but no matter how many times we asked, we could not ever obtain any clarification on the matter. Okay. I found this letter in one of the bodies of the heretics who planned the attack. Can you tell me about it? Or what can you tell me about it? Clementia reads the letter. The Versarians behind her read it over her shoulder. Your lordship, let us be frank. It would be foolish of me to try and orchestrate something like this, knowing how many wardens are patrolling your palace. I would not have let myself or anyone in my family get involved in such a scheme. You know, I'm going to ask the first question. It's stupid, but I'm going to ask it. Are you truly guilty? Be honest. I will not tolerate lies. Lamentia, if you know that a member of your family is guilty of the crimes you're being accused of. Abelard, it is your family too, you know. The woman's words burn with defiance. My apologies, I should not lose my composure. No member of House Versarian is involved in a conspiracy against his lordship. Honour and loyalty are not something we take lightly. We know whom we serve. The attackers were high-functioning servitors, ones that looked closer to ordinary humans. Do you know anything about them? Servitors? Is that so? Clementia crosses her arms and furrows her brow deep in thought. I've encountered servitors that were indistinguishable from normal augmented humans, but only once. They were accompanying several members of House Gaprak. If you are not guilty, who is? Who stands to gain from framing you? Anyone, really? Clementia replies with a bitter laugh. The other houses consider us unworthy of our position, and many would jump at a chance to get rid of us and gain control over what was once our domain. The planet's fleet and logistics at the very least. Lady Theodora chose to grant a noble status to House Versarian, but the other houses which have served in the Expanse for millennia did not welcome the decision. It has led to some difficulties. I want to find out what's going on here and who is the real mastermind behind all this. Where should I start? I'm afraid I cannot be much help. Talk to the representatives of the other house, eavesdrop on their retinue, and perhaps you will hear something unusual. Alright. Well, let's head over here.
Keep your wits about you.
So, who have we got? So we have the Sarabaks. I have no reason to speak with them currently, really. They don't seem involved right this second. Let's speak to the Gapraks, who seem like the next obvious people to speak to. Right? They are the people who were last seen with these servitors. The lords and ladies, sumptuously dressed in the colours of House Gaprak, are standing in a half circle around Toriana and her son, Vicent. The bodies and faces of almost every member of this dynasty are covered in large, ornate augmetics. Toriana Gaprak curtsies to you. Her mechanical voice sounds distant and indifferent. Greetings, your lordship. May the Omnissiah grant you understanding. With a click, her visor oculars swivel to the seneschal. Abelard, it must be difficult for you to be here under these circumstances, with your house standing accused of such a grave crime. My family, Lady Toriana, is yet to be found guilty of anything. That verdict is for the rogue traitor to reach. Okay, do you think the accusations against the Versarian family are true? I would not take such a responsibility upon myself and rule on their guilt, your lordship. I do think Governor Drivestem's accusations are worthy of consideration, however. I've examined the bodies of the assailants that were killed today. All of them were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors were only employed by the families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Isn't that so? It's impossible to read Toriana's emotions in her heavily augmented face, but her sudden turn towards her family betrays her confusion and surprise. Perplexed whispers bounce from one family member to another. Impossible! We came here by ourselves without any servitors. We know nothing about it. I just realized I only spoke to one member of House Versarian on the other side. We should sort that out. Your lordship, Thank you for informing us of this. You are absolutely right. My house has indeed been endowed with high-functioning servitors, a blessing for those who revere the Omnissiah. But today, none of our house members were accompanied by them. I found this note on the bodies of one of the attackers. What are your thoughts on it? Officially, high-functioning servitors are employed by my house and my house alone. If such units were to attack the rogue trader, suspicion would instantly fall upon the Gapraks. I assumed that this is where the Versarians this is what the Versarians intended to happen. They did not expect the servitors would have this letter on them. In your opinion, which nobles have a reason to be party to such a conspiracy? She thinks for several moments before replying. Pardon my bluntness, your lordship, but I will answer truthfully. It could be anyone. Greed, fear, and ideals can drive even the most loyal subjects to do the unthinkable. Vicent, I wish to speak to you, or Vicent, I wish to speak to you. Ready to serve, your lordship. How may I help you? What do you make of the charges against the Versarian family? Could they truly be guilty? I do not think I can doubt the validity of the accusations, but... Vicent's, is it Vincent? Is that how you spell Vincent? No, because there would have to be an extra N. It must be Vicent. It's just a weird name. Anyway, voice trails off and he seems to retreat into himself for a moment. Before continuing, he takes a deep breath. I am also not sure that House Versarian had a reason to betray you, your lordship. I don't know of any instance where their loyalty to you and the Emperor was anything less than unwavering. I know you care for Astartia Versarian. Are you prepared to watch her die? Vicent's jaw agmatic screeches slightly. The young man scrutinizes his mother and other family members for a few moments. We're not having a conversation there, but okay. There's something you ought to know, your lordship. Today I noticed one of my family members to be in an odd, uncharacteristic mood. Hallan Gaprak is my paternal second cousin once removed, may the Emperor save his soul. Usually reserved and self-possessed, today he was frantic and anxious, fidgeting with a small piece of paper, and seemingly looking for someone to no avail. When I last saw him, he was headed to the entrance hall where the altars are. Perhaps you should talk to him. I'll do. Okay. I'll take my leave. Okay. So, we know where he is. I'll need to head over here and speak to Astartia. Because, you know, might as well speak to all the members of House Versarian that are here. I just forgot that we didn't speak to her. Oh. Alright then. Glad that we spent the time to go and speak to her then. Alright, so let's go speak to this other Gaprak member. We have more aristocrats and noblemen just randomly here. Oh, and now he has a name. That's cool. Okay. Hello. A finely dressed man of middle years is kneeling in front of the altar, his palms folded in prayer close to his face. The implant-free parts of his skin are a sickly blue color. The nobleman does not react to your presence. He does not lift his head, he does not blink, he does not even breathe. Only when you draw closer do you realize he is dead? Oh, that'll explain why he was blue. Abelard looks at the man, his eyes grim. The colors of House Gaprak. I do not believe he decided to take his own life in such an extravagant way. As far as I know, there is a warden post here, but I do not see any wardens. The seneschal looks around. There is no one to ask about what happened here, or with whom this man spoke before he died. I would like to ask Urbend where the palace guard suddenly disappeared to. Heinrichs leans towards the dead man. A familiar sight. There are poisons that rapidly damage the nervous system, causing paralytic spasms throughout the body. Once injected, the victims usually suffer slowly and painfully, unable to call for help. Examine the body. There are no visible wounds on the body, but near the edge of the gold-trimmed collar you notice a tiny puncture in his blue skin, likely a wound caused by a thin needle. Search the pockets. You discover a secret pocket in the lining of the dead man's luxurious jacket. You find a folded piece of paper inside, hiding behind a handkerchief embroidered with the initials HG. Make sure the rogue trader is attacked by someone loyal. It should appear as if it was all staged to let the Versarian family escape. This is the last assignment, soon your debt will be paid off in full. Look around. You're almost certain wardens are usually stationed nearby, but their post is empty. Where have they gone? This would be an excellent question to put to Governor Drivestem. Okay.
Is there money to be made?
Well, I should probably go and let the Gapraks know that their family member is dead. I feel like that would only be fair. But also, That's kind of all the proof we need to end the trial for the Versarians. Let's see. Yes. That's fine, we've already done that. I discovered a dead body, a member of your house, right here in my palace. He died kneeling in prayer. Toriana covers her open mouth with her hand in surprise, turning to her family and looks for someone among them. Hallen, it can't be. Hallen, was it? Tell me about him, Toriana. Hallen is one of the lower-ranking members of House Gaprak. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office, but he was always striving to better his position, even beyond his abilities. Many members of my house struggled to cope with the misfortune that befell Kiavagama and our family. Some members could not reconcile themselves to our new position. Hallen was one of them. What could have happened to him? Toriana's visor oculars are fixed on the floor, her fingers restlessly clenching in the fabric of her dress. Toriana, the time to keep silent is long gone. The future of the von Valancius trade dynasty and your house are both at stake now. We lost Kiavagama, a truly devastating blow to every member of House Gaprak. I lost all hope for the future, and my kin lost their sense of purpose. We needed time to recover and chart a new course for ourselves. We were, and still are, more than capable of doing that, but I will not deny it. The other houses have offered us their assistance for their own self-serving ends. Perhaps Hallen decided to take them up on one of their offers behind my back. Okay, find the culprit, tick. That's it, we're done? Okay. The seneschal bows ever so slightly and speaks quietly so only you can hear him. Lord Captain, the Gapraks, all or perhaps only some of them, are definitely involved. I suspect they are not behind the plot against you. Hallen Gaprak could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deaf puppet master. We must expose whoever that is if we were to prevent the pestilence of heresy spreading even further. What do you suggest we do? Interrogate the heads of Drivestem and Sourback houses. One of them has been pulling the strings here. Once we uncover new evidence, announce that a guilty party will be publicly executed. But before you pronounce the verdict, I suggest focusing on each house in your indictment speech. I shall observe them. I have known these people far longer than you have. I know all their gestures, habits, and behavioral quirks. I'm sure that I will be able to determine which of them was responsible for the riots based on their behavior. Okay. Well, we discovered something already.
Rise to the top,
I'm actually going to
or
go
get
back
left
over
in the
here
dust.
first. So, I think all that's saying is you have discovered who did it, so therefore you can end the quest, right? But we haven't necessarily discovered the best answer. I discovered the body of Hallen Gaprak here in this palace. He had this note on him. Do you know anything about it? Younger members of the Versarian family crowd around to examine the note in Clementia's hands. All present are beset with worry and bewilderment. I'm not sure if this is relevant. Perhaps you should know. Since the fall of Kiavagama, House Gaprak has been faring poorly, to say the least. They've been looking for ways to enhance their influence and improve their lot, including asking for help from the other noble houses. They have not approached us, of course. It is shameful to seek help from those you consider your inferiors, you understand. Perhaps the Drivestems or Sourbacks can tell you more about the matter. Okay, let's do Sourbacks next. I suspect it's the Drivestems, but let's have a look here.
Always
Like, could
keep
be
your
both
eye
of them.
on the price.
That's the thing. Right. Hello. Before bowing, Sourback scrutinizes you with a bitter, judgmental look. Your lordship? Hector Sourback, looking like a younger copy of his father, stands at a slight distance, close to his mother. Expensive yet understated dress serves to highlight the dazzling beauty of Macarius' wife, Regina Sourback. Okay, I don't know why that ended the conversation there. That's fine. Do you really believe the Versarians are guilty? Certainly, Sourback replies without hesitation. Governor Drivestem possesses proof of their guilt, and they have no means by which to refute it. Even if I were to entertain the idea that the Versarians were being framed, how much longer would their house have lasted anyway, if it's so ill-prepared for treachery? He addresses Abelard with a slightly mocking tone. My advice to House Versarian would be not to appeal to the rogue trader for help, but instead to simply stop, accept their fate, and not make matters worse for themselves. I cannot remember Malachi von Valencia seeking your advice on what House Versarian should do in this situation. Pay attention, Macarius. Focus on the rogue trader's questions. Who apart from the Versarians could have a motive to conspire against me? House Drivestem, wishing to expand their clout. House Gaprak, who lost their influence after the Kiava Gamma incident. Sarbak looks back at his family, then turns to you again. House Sarbak, whose patriarch is too direct in his communication with the rogue trader. Anyone could have a reason to conspire against you, and equally they could have none. It is not a question of motive, but of loyalty. Each of your subjects has sworn an oath of loyalty to you, so whose sincerity do you doubt? The assailants sent to the palace were rare, high-functioning servitors. Do you think the Gapraks could be behind the attack? Sarbak looks away briefly and replies to you with a curt laugh. I have always thought Turiana too weak to participate in such risky ventures, but it seems I was wrong about her. I discovered a dead body in my palace. A man of House Gaprak was killed while praying to the Emperor. He had this note on him. Do you know anything about it? Macarius looks at the note without taking it from your hands and replies without hesitation. No, I know nothing about this note. Okay, any of you other ones have anything to say? Nope. Okay, now we check the last one. Nope. Okay, so he basically said nothing.
I don't
think he did
options open.
That's my initial assessment there. He seems so uninvolved that if he did it, it's a very big surprise. Can I speak to this warden and say, like, where were the other wardens? No. Okay. We have Drivestem aristocrats, and then we have these two. Hello. Governor Drivestem is surrounded by his retinue, who are all dressed in expensive gowns and finery. The matching colour scheme with their outfits and the striking physical resemblance among them suggests they all come from one family. Your lordship, thank you for giving this case your undivided attention. The governor bows, and the rest hasten to follow suit. I wish to hear your reasoning again. What makes you think the Versarians are behind the plot against me? Yes, so we've had that. And now we get the next part. Your lordship, a slender young man bows to you awkwardly and nervously licks his dry lips. I assure you that my humble person is undeserving of your attention. Cornelius holds a prestigious position in the Administratum Palace, and it was he who discovered the errors leading to the disrupted logistics. It's also thanks to him we found the perpetrators of forgeries who were admitted to, or the perpetrators of the forgeries who were admitted to acting on the orders of House Versarian. Did you see Macarius Sarbak today before I arrived? Macarius? I did not see him myself, but perhaps. The governor turns around and asks his family, have any of you seen him today? Nobles talk quietly among themselves, and then a middle-aged woman with a tall, extravagant hairstyle replies to you. I think my sister and I saw him sitting on a bench some distance away from the palace entrance. We think he was accompanied by a gentleman, but forgive us, your lordship, we could not make out his face. Lead me to the place. Of course, consider it done. Oh, you're going to literally lead me to the place. Alright, well. This isn't really where you described it, but that's fine. Is it this bench? You saw Sarbak conversing with someone here. I got an awareness check.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
I recognize this bouquet. How Sarbak usually serves as wine. Okay. Well, back over here. We're not finished interrogating these guys. Tell me more about your son, Drivestem. Thank you for your interest, your lordship, but I am not worthy of it. Oh, sorry, it's him. Thank you for your interest, your lordship, but I am not worthy of it. The governor's son bows and stands still as he nervously stares down at the floor. Son show due respect. Forgive him, your lordship. This is the first time he has had the honor of attracting the attention of the rogue trader. Heinrich narrows his eyes and glances at you. And glancing at you, shakes his head. Okay. Tell me more about your job, Cornelius. What do you do? I manage the documents and records related to the economy of Darkonus. You probably know how scrupulous the workers of the Adeptus Ministratum are. I am afraid that a more detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative processes of the Administratum, too long and overly detailed. Cornelius tries to look you in the eye, but it's clearly hard for him to do so. So Heinrich is basically giving us the, I got a bad feeling about this guy. How did you manage to find the forged documents in the bureaucratic hell that is the Administratum? When compiling reports on the last cycle's supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies in the figures. With the help of the other clerics, I managed to find several other documents. Cornelius stammers and swallows noisily. Comprehensive data analysis has shown that the discrepancies were caused by intentional tampering with the data, thus leading to some logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I have managed to single out the Administratum clerks responsible for tampering with the data. Following a heated interrogation, they confessed that they were following the orders of someone from House Versarion. Everyone was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from the logistical and economic problems. But does House Versarion have access to the Adeptus Administratum? There's no conceivable way they could do all this in a place where they do not hold any power. Before replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock coat. I think the right amount of money can open any door. Cornelius, what's the true reason for your nervousness? The young man's pupils suddenly dilate. He stands at attention and replies to you in one breath. This is the first time I've spoken face to face with the rogue trader. I'm afraid of saying something wrong or forgetting something important. The governor closely watches his son. His tone changes, now sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Lord Captain anything else? Okay. I can just point them to Heinrichs and say, would you like to speak to him instead? But no. You're speaking to a rogue trader and my patience is running out. You see a flash of terror in Cornelius' eyes and he stares at your hand at your weapon. He speaks quietly and confusedly, without raising his head. Forgive me, your lordship. I can't do it anymore. This lie has gone too far and I can no longer control it. The truth is that all the logistical problems are caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. What? Urbend looks genuinely shocked and enraged. When I discovered my mistake, it was almost impossible to restore the supply lines. Then I was approached by someone who said they were a friend. They did not give me their name and I never saw their face. They promised to fix the problem. All I had to do was pretend that the Versarians were responsible for the mistake, and as for the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all and Cornelius is suffocating with fear, unable to speak. Urban curls his hands into fists, the knuckles turning white. What have you done? How could you, your lordship? He suddenly turns to you as if trying to shield his son. This is my fault. I trusted my son and I have failed you in doing so. I beg you, have mercy. Abelard shakes his head. And you called my family's honor into question, Urbend. Nevertheless, I harbor no desire to kick a man when he is down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means House Versarion can now be cleared of all charges. What is this friend that approached you, Cornelius? How did the two of you communicate? By letter. I received a letter out of the blue one day. It was unsigned, but the person writing already knew about my erroneous calculations. They offered to help me cover up my misdeed. In return, all I would have to do, I would name the Versarians as the ones who sabotaged the supply lines. All I had to do was gather some documents and reports that were listed on one of the letters. That and keep my mouth shut. Urbend, your son has found the courage to admit his mistake. I will try and find some compassion for him in my heart. Thank you, your lordship. The governor bows low, then gives his son a look full of bitterness and frustration. As for your position, I think you will be reassigned to a role requiring less responsibility. Okay. What do you make of this letter? I found it on one of the assailants. Governor Drivestem peers closely at the blood-stained paper. It looks like another piece of evidence incriminating House Versarion. Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help them escape custody during the confusion that followed. All of the assailants were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors were only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus. High-functioning servitors? Drivestem ponders this, rubbing his chin with his thumb. Such servitors are indeed rare, and the Gapraks do have them in their service. But this could have been done intentionally with an eye to confusing you. Anyone with the desire and sufficient funds can hire them. I found a dead body in my palace. A member of House Gaprak was slain in front of an altar. Do you know anything about it? A member of House Gaprak was killed in the palace. The governor's eyes bulge in surprise. And no one noticed. But how? There are wardens posted at every altar. There was no one near the deceased. The wardens had left their post. Did you order them to do so? Emperor forbid, your lordship. The governor helplessly throws up his hands in the air as if to signify his powerlessness. Your negligence is stunning, Urbend. An assassination attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet here you are, oblivious to everything. Rogue trader can justly accuse you of allowing a noble to be killed in the palace and of failing to even notice it. It may be so, but it is for the rogue trader to accuse me of negligence, not you. The governor addresses you once more. Your lordship, accept my deepest apologies for my imprudence. Nothing matters more to me than my honor. I will send the servants to deal with all of this immediately. I'll return to you later. Okay, now we have to go speak to Sarabak.
Keep
Who
your
may have
wits
been the
about
people
you.
involved in this, but may not. They may also be being framed. I suspect that there's a fifth party, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, now we head back over here and speak to these guys. Yeah, that's fine. Now we go over here. We're gonna have to do this on the fly and come up with something. That's fine. Hello. Lamentia. That's fine. Okay, so now we've got everything. Now all we really need to do is just have one last look around the place, see if there's any other information that we could find and be like, but what about
keep
this?
your eye on the price.
And then, you know, then we're probably done. Right, in here? Yeah, so I assume nobody's coming in here. It's just a... Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't look like
Rise to
anything's
the
there.
top, or
We've
get
been
left
down
in the
this
dust.
bit. We've been everywhere else. Yeah, right. I think we've discovered everything we're going to discover. Right. So, what is the most likely scenario? The most likely scenario is that Gaprak was running low on funds. Drivestem had an incompetent son. And Sarabak had a meeting with one of them here and then proceeded to well, basically blackmail each of them. That's the most likely scenario. So, let's see. So, did I save? Let's save again. Then we'll do it. Right. Hello. Summon everyone, I'm ready to pronounce my verdict. Governor Drivestem tensely bows and replies without hesitation. Understood, your lordship. Allow me to prepare everything. Many faces are watching you, each and every one awaiting the rogue trader's verdict with bated breath. The charges brought by Governor Drivestem were fabricated. House Versarian had nothing to do with the orchestration of the riots or the plot targeting the rogue trader. However, the real perpetrators are here in this very room. The Seneschal nods to you as if urging you to continue, then shifts his piercing gaze to the crowd before you. Oh wow, and you have to basically just do one of these here. So, we can say, Governor Drivestem, you've exhibited inexcusable negligence. Okay. We've discovered the attempt to my life was orchestrated by a member of House Gaprak, which is true. Governor Drivestem, you have accused House Versarian of violations that were, in truth, the result of a grave error committed by your son. Toriana Gaprak, a member of your family orchestrated an assassination attempt against me. Macarius Sarabak, your overt contempt towards me is a reason enough to implicate you, or I know that House Sarabak offered their help to the Gapraks, and the late Hallan Gaprak seems to have accepted this offer. I suspect you're responsible for his death as well. Let's say that. Sarabak furrows his brow and slightly cocks his head. He averts his gaze for the first time as if trying to remember or make some sense of something. You notice some restless movements behind him. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Macarius Sarabak and his retinue, standing behind him. His sharp eyes light up when he catches sight of something important and hidden in the crowd. The Seneschal looks at you and nods, as if to say, the puppeteer has given himself away, pronounce the verdict. I could do all of these checks now and see everything. In the conspiracy against the I'm not going to say the rest of these because I don't think the rest of these are relevant. That's the only one that's actually relevant. In the conspiracy against the rogue trader, actually I'm going to say this one too. Urban Drivestem, you have accused the Vice Versarian of violations that were in truth the result of a grave error committed by your son. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but you see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. It's not Drivestem pulling the strings. We're not going to brand our house as traitors. We're not going to say that this one either. We're not going to say this one either. Okay. In the conspiracy against rogue traders, I find the air in the room is frozen with tense, almost electrified silence. All the nobles, some with fear and others with reverent anticipation, await your verdict. So we can say that House Gaprak is guilty. Say Sarabak is guilty, or Sarabak guilty. The head of your family has never tried to hide his attitude toward me. No, the top one. House Sarabak is guilty. Seneschal, you may take it from here. Oh, are you going to just kill him? Abelard steps forward and stares intently at House Sarabak's patriarch. Macarius, I must admit I've always admired your bluntness, but just as I once had to say goodbye to a promotion because of my dislike for intrigue, you and your family might say goodbye to your heads. Now, tell me in your blunt fashion, are you loyal to House von Valancius? Sarabak narrows his eyes, grimacing. I am loyal, Versarian. Abelard studies Sarabak, then suddenly nods. You are not lying, but someone else is. Someone who is poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Macarius does not have time to respond. Regina, who is standing beside him, raises her arm as if to slap the elderly seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist, stopping her hand right in front of his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive augmentic ring, topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. Sarabak shifts his confused gaze from his wife to Abelard and then back again. The stiff arrogance has vanished from his posture. Regina, you... Mother. Upon realizing what has happened, Heka recoils from his mother. Macarius, your bluntness makes you an open book. When I talked about helping the Gapraks, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sarabak, you have alone have betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the von Valancius trade dynasty, and you alone are responsible for your unmasking. Regina, why would you do this? Like the spike on her ring, Regina's words are dripping with poison and rage. Because Darkonus is serving an impostor, the true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. When Kunrad appeared on Darkonus, he paid me a visit and opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodora was killed by the one whom she had so unwaringly taken under her wing. No, she was killed by... well, yes, she was. She was killed by Argent, but anyway. Macarius is too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader, even an illegitimate one, so I had to wait for the right moment, and the disappearance of the Lord Captain could not have come at a better time. It was quite simple to trigger a chain of events on Darkonus so that the people all remembered Master Voigtvir's past service. It seems that many of your subjects do actually consider you a worthy successor. Why the Versarians? Because when stripped of the Seneschal's protection, this house is the weakest one on all of Darkonus. They also particularly disliked by the governor's family. It would have been easy to bury the Versarians under accusations of heresy. Who aided you? There's no way you could have managed all this on your own. Oh, of course I didn't. I have too many helpers to list them all, but rest assured there are plenty of them. Just there are plenty of people who follow Master Voigtvir. My death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Okay, why did you kill Hallan Gaprak? Hallan was a good agent, but he was also a coward. He came to me just before a formidable rogue trader arrived. He was ready to confess everything. I suggested that he plead for the rogue trader's for the Emperor's forgiveness first, and he did grant him mercy, did he not? Abelard, the sentence has yet to be carried out. Finish this. Although we should probably find out all the people who were working with her, but guess not. Abelard turns his gaze to you. Does the rogue trader condemn only the rotten apple or the entire barrel? Well, I mean, for us, it seems like the obvious answer is 2. I will not exterminate an entire noble line that is loyal to me just because of one traitor. In that case, Regina Sarabak will be subjected to intense interrogation, followed by execution. Oh, okay, well, that's fine then. So we have a liquefier shot as well that we can use. Okay. Cool. Is this loading back in the default von Valancius Palace, or are we doing something else here? If it just loads in the default palace with just us there and no follow-up, it's going to be very weird. Let's see. By order of the rogue trader, Regina Sarabak is sentenced to death for heresy and crimes against the von Valancius trade dynasty. Oh. I see. We're doing the interrogation in public, I see. And the execution, but that definitely looked like there had been some interrogating going on there. Alright, now we're loading back into the inside of the palace. When the nobles disperse, sated by the bloody performance, Abelard approaches you, his steps firm. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. A rogue trader should not waste time on the matters that his servants and trustees can resolve. In this case, your intervention was necessary, not just for the sake of my family, but for your trade dynasty as well. Regina Sarabak, evidently Kunrad's accomplices, continue to plot against your protectorate. I fear we have not heard the last of such scoundrels. Okay. Thanks to you, Lord Captain, House Versarion is saved, although it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming without and imprudence within. Abelard pauses for a moment, staring off into the distance. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach them. I could ensure that they survive in the future without me. What are you going to do now? I need time to reflect upon what happened and the role I played in it. I will be ready to resume this conversation later, when we are back on board the ship. Abelard bows to you deferentially and turns away lost in thought. Okay, and then it loads in the default one. At least there was follow-up. Okay, well, this seems like a good moment to save and to end the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, I guess we gotta like talk to some people in here, work our way out, and then I don't know, I guess at some point we're just gonna randomly explore until the Lord Inquisitor wants to speak with us? I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.